Welcome to this month's presentation. Don't miss out on any of our club updates or exciting content. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. By joining our online communities, you'll stay informed about upcoming events, technical tips, and club news. Check out our website for more details. Subscribe and follow today so you never miss a moment of our growing amateur radio adventures. Now, back to our program.
All right, this is Brian, N5TZV. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, and we are here tonight to talk about the Crossroads repeater update. Next slide, please. All right, so tonight we're going to talk about our current network coverage, analog ways to connect, digital ways to connect, where our system status pages are. We're going to brief overview of the etiquette that we have in place and the connection policies. And then we'll have time for Q&As after each section. After the analog section and the digital section, we'll do Q&As for each one. Okay, so our current network coverage is we have, I'm trying to figure out how to do this because we're looking at the Zoom slide. We have multiple repeaters that are analog that are connected to a hub node. The All-Star hub is 28528, and that is an open hub and allows connections for All-Star. And Crossroads maintains a number of repeaters, and we also have member-owned repeaters that are connected to the network. And you can see on our coverage map, it gives you a list of we have a repeater database with the list of all the repeaters and their tones and the locations and to get to the system analog. All right, so our analog ways to connect are through our FM repeaters, of course, and they're all connected through All-Star link technology through the internet. We also have an Echolink node at W5LCR-L, and then you can also use your own personal All-Star analog node. Like, for example, a Sherry Pi. There's phone apps available you can download, and we also have another hub node that is 614491, and that one is like a test node. So you can, if you've got if you got a node and your buddy's got a node and y'all want to just talk to each other and not tie up the whole repeater network, you can connect to 614491, and you can have QSOs as long as you'd like and be able to test your nodes and get everything up and running. Again, the test hub is 614491, and it is open and will allow incoming connections. Next slide, please.
Question? Go ahead, question. This is Net Control, KB9MEQ.
Yeah, this is Chris, WB5ITT in Orange. Looking at the repeater map, it's needed to be updated. It does not show my W5APX Wallaceville site, which has been online now for a couple of months. The repeater is down right now due to a transmitter issue, but I'll have it quickly repaired. But that node has never been added to the map, and I was just wondering when the map's going to be updated. It seems to be several months behind, WB5ITT.
Okay, N5TZV. Yeah, Chris, the map does need to have an update. Just so you know, in the database, it is listed. I think the database is the most up-to-date. The map has not been updated. We are in the process of doing that now. We're trying to come up with a different way to do it because we've got a lot of repeaters. And anyway, that will be shortly taken care of, and thanks for letting me know about that. I'll get with ITZ, and we're going to get together and create a new map, and then because Snook's not on here either. So, but the database, the CRHRC database, at crhrc.org/repeaters is accurate and has pretty much all the current stuff at this time.
Okay, well, I'm looking at the database right now on my phone, and when I enter the W5APX call, it shows two entries, but they're blank. All it shows the column headers and two rows underneath it, but there's no information, so you may want to look at that as well. And I'm running an Android phone, WB5ITT.
W5ITZ, comment?
Go ahead, comment.
Yeah, thanks. Chris, try turning your phone off of dark mode and see if that helps. W5ITZ.
I'll give that a try, sir. Thank you. WB5ITT.
All right, and this is Mike, KB9MEQ. We'll get back to our presentation now. Awesome questions. We do have a session question scheduled at the end, so if you just want to hang on to them, we'll have a question and answer session at the end. But thank you all. So back to Brian.
Okay, this is N5TZV. Mike, what I would like to do, though, is do a Q&A for analog, because we went over analog. I'd like to get the questions for analog out of the way before we dive deep into the digital, if that's okay. So if anybody does have another question for analog at this time, I will go ahead and accept those. And so we'll do that at this time.
K5LK, a couple of questions.
All right, K5LK, go ahead with your question.
Hey, thanks, Brian and Robert, here in just a minute. This network has just grown tremendously. I mean, kind of a little bit of anniversary here. TechNet number 1 in October of 2023 is when we first did All-Star and the network. And maybe, Brian, you can just comment how it's grown and a lot of the things that's happened and how it's affected the club in such a positive way here. And it's just awesome. So just maybe talk about that for a second, if you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah, good point there, Bill. Thanks for bringing that up. So let's go back to the beginning. When Crossroads first started, our vision was about 2 to 3 repeaters, 1 or 2 in Louise and 1 or 2 in Edna, and that was kind of what we started with. Well, we started talking, and we got some other people involved, and it just grew tremendously, like I call it the snowball effect. And now we're up to what you see on the screen now, and then some. And what has happened is we have people that are approaching the group, the Crossroads, and asking if they can link their repeaters. Like, say they had repeaters up on the air for a long time, and nobody was there wasn't much activity, and they asked if they can connect, and that's kind of how we have grown organically. And we basically have reactivated some repeaters that weren't activated for a long time. We've added new repeaters, and we were able to create what we call the 59 corridor. So we have basically pretty much seamless coverage now from the Louisiana state line all the way down to Corpus Christi, down to Kingsville. And that's a combination of Crossroads repeaters and member-owned and other club repeaters that have joined the network. Does that help explain it, okay?
Yeah, it sure does. I mean, it's just an awesome network, and just really appreciate you and the whole technical support on the repeater, you and Rob and other folks, some of the members, and the club repeater is just awesome. I have a second question, if that's okay. It's more about the audio.
Okay, Bill, this is Robert. Go ahead.
Hey, Robert. Yeah, we're looking here on the different ways to connect, right? And primarily the repeaters or echo link or, voice nodes and all that type of stuff. The audio quality is just so awesome on this network. I mean, I've been around repeaters for many decades. I know the technology's really improved a lot over the years, but just kudos to you guys and others how do y'all keep the audio quality so great on this network?
So on the system, we try to stick to the ULAW codec, which is the highest or the most bandwidth of all the codecs on the system. The only time we use anything lower is when we have a cell site, or we have to use a cell modem, and we'll use the ADP codec, which I think is around 30 kilobits a second, 30 or 40 kilobits a second, whereas the ULAW is around 80 kilobits a second. So when we have a slow connection at a site, then we'll drop the codec to kind of make it more reliable. I guess that's the best way to put it. But as far as the audio goes, Brian has a technique that he does from the sound interface, from the repeater to the sound interface and back to the repeater. He'll send, I guess it's a signal through the All-Star system and gets the audio perfect. He's got a method to his madness, so we're thankful for having that. So that's how these repeaters sound so good. And then just having a stable network. We have our nodes connected via a VPN, so that we can basically it builds a tunnel back to the server, and we can access those nodes without having to open any ports on the router to keep things secure on the client end where we have these repeaters located. So they basically make an outbound call to the server, and then the server is able to talk two ways through the VPN network. So that makes it a little bit easier to config, so we can just basically go out to a site, plug it in, and we're about 93% sure that it's going to connect. So that's another good tool we've been using on VPN. Any other questions?
That's all I had. Back to net control, K5LK. Thanks, guys.
Very good. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Brian. Any other questions on the analog side? And I had one. I'll wait for people to come back with any other analog questions. KB9MEQ.
I just had one thing I wanted to say about the test node when you have a chance.
Go right ahead, sir.
Okay, this is Robert, KB5PBM for ID. The test node, the 614491, that's an excellent node to use. Let's say that you can't do any port forwarding, especially when you're on a cell network, and let's say you're tethered to your phone. Normally, you're just limited to outbound connections. So let's say you get two nodes that are on cell networks, and you can use that node to communicate between two sharing nodes that are on cell phones, or if somebody else is on a regular node where they do have two-way capability, where the cell phone user doesn't. That also is a great node to use to communicate. That's another cool tool about the 614491. Plus, it's there. Anybody, if you need to test audio or set audio, anybody can flip over there to it and work with you on it.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Robert. Thanks for that additional information. So it sounds like the test hub node is sort of the all-inclusive there. I had a question, just real quick. Where do our servers actually sit? Are we in the cloud, or just where do our servers sit? KB9MEQ.
No, we have one of our directors that has provided us a location for the server. It's on a 1 gig backbone, and so far we haven't had any problems. We have our little glitches here and there, but it's been very stable, and we haven't had any problems with it. And the server is a 8-core Intel Dell server that has 32 gigs of memory, and we have two 1 terabyte hard drives in a RAID 1 configuration, so they're mirrored. And it's on a 1 gig backbone, just FYI on the server.
Very good. Thanks for that. Any other questions, guys, on the analog side? If not, we'll turn it back over to the team, and they can continue on. Hearing none, back to you guys. KB9MEQ.
All right, this is N5TZV. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your questions. One more thing, Mike, on the server. The Crossroads Ham Radio Club, the club owns the server and maintains it. That's all funded through the club. The server was built, and it was built purposely, and it has been very reliable, thanks to Robert and others who have put that all together. Next slide, please. All right, let's get into some digital modes. So not only we have the awesome analog all-star network, we also have a DMR instance. We have our own C-Bridge that allows us to connect Motorola repeaters into the Motorola DMR network. But what we're going to talk about here is we have two talk groups that are for Crossroads. One of them is called Talk Group 11, and we have 3 DMR repeaters that have access to that Talk Group 11, which there's one in Edna, there's one in Wharton, and one in Pasadena. They are on our list. All the information you need for that is on our database. Those 3 repeaters, if you key up on Talk Group 11 and everything's programmed correctly, you will come out on the All-Star Hub Node 28528. So that's our link from analog to DMR. So Talk Group 11. And we also, thanks to Robert, we have a MMDVM DMR instance through Pi-Star and WPSD users. And they can find it by looking for Crossroads CRHRC Talk Group 11 on the Pi-Star, and that will get you back and forth to the All-Star Hub node. So if you have a DMR radio and you have a DMR hotspot and you want to talk on Crossroads, the main network, you go find CRHRC Talk Group 11 through Pi-Star or WPSD. I'm going to let it drop.
So one thing about the MMDVM, I just put that in today, the DMR access for Talk Group 11 and Talk Group 50. We run our own HB-Link server on our server, and it has Talk Group 11, which is linked back to All-Star 28528, and then 50, I have not built it to go to the C-Bridge yet, but I will get that built here in the next day or two. But if you have a hotspot, go ahead and search for CRHRC in the DMR section, and you should see 11, and you'll be able to get on to the 28528 Crossroads analog side. Go ahead.
Okay, and let's talk about Talk Group 50 for a minute. That's another talk group that CRHRC maintains, and what that does is that talks to the DMR repeaters only. So if you have a hotspot and you want to come out on the Edna, Wharton, and Pasadena DMR repeaters on Talk Group 50, which it's time slot 2, I don't want to get too much into the DMR programming here, but that allows you to talk on DMR only. It does not come out on All-Star. That's what Talk Group 50 is for. Talk Group 11 is if you want to come out on All-Star and hear All-Star, and that's full-time. With that, I would like to ask, Mike, would it be okay to ask for questions on DMR at this time?
Absolutely. Let's have some questions on DMR, guys. KB9MEQ.
KG5 IAZ, Bay City.
Go ahead. IAZ, Bay City, go ahead.
Brian, can you comment on audio quality for DMR compared to analog, and any specific reasons why we may want to use the DMR?
Well, digital audio is different. Everybody that knows that's used digital understands it's a lot more narrow. It's not the same fidelity. It's a lot narrower bandwidth, especially on DMR because you have 2 time slots. So it's narrow banded and it's digital. So, and then you got a conversion process when you go from digital to analog. A lot of people like to use DMR because the hotspots are smaller. They're easier to hook up, I guess, and a lot of people have them. And a lot of people have the little inexpensive TYT DMR radios or others. So it's just something that we are supporting for the network.
So follow-up, Do you have like any additional range with the DMR that you may not have with the analog?
Well, the digital will reach farther, but when it's out of range, it's out of range. There's no like picket fencing or static. What you'll start getting is a lot of packet loss, and then it'll just drop. So we have noticed that DMR will reach farther in certain circumstances. Most of the DMR repeaters are UHF, so they'll have the same characteristics as UHF analog as far as range goes, but they will reach a little bit farther. I don't know that number. This presentation is not to get into DMR and the characteristics of DMR. It's really just to introduce what we have available for DMR users into Crossroads.
Roger, thank you.
And I'll add to that, the DMR is it's a more efficient means of communications where you get the 2 time slots, and you have more talk paths, so it uses the bandwidth more efficiently. We just want to give our users the access to the technology to learn it and to play with it. I guess that's the other big reason we have the DMR network available to our users.
K5KTV, Chris. I do have a question on the DMR because I'm a little confused.
Okay, go ahead with your question, Chris. We'll try our best to answer it.
Hey, just as far as finding the Crossroads talk group on Pi-Star for this, where do I go look since I've got a Brandmeister talk group or Brandmeister hotspot?
Okay, we're not on Brandmeister. We don't have nothing connected to Brandmeister on our server, and I just added it in today. So on the pull-down menu where you connect to Brandmeister, you'll have the different servers for Brandmeister. We will eventually, if we haven't already, will show up on a list. It'll say CRHRC, and you'll see Talk Group 11, and you'll see another one for Talk Group 50. There's 2 different entries for each talk group, and we had to do that because of the way that Pi-Star, or I guess it's DVREF, inventories the DMR server configuration. And if you have any problems or any questions regarding connecting or issues connecting or questions, we can be contacted info@crhrc.org. Just shoot us an email and we'll get your questions answered. But we're not running anything with Brandmeister. Everything is ran on an HB-Link software, and that's ran on our server. So it's all independent of Brandmeister.
That's cool. I appreciate it. Even though I've been doing DMR, this hotspot thing is kind of new to me. But K5KTV back to net control.
Super, Chris. Thank you. Any other questions on DMR? All right, Brian and Robert, why don't we continue on? Thank you. KB9MEQ.
Okay, so our next digital mode that we have on the server is P25. This one's not used very often, but it's there. We have a reflector, and it's registered with DVREF. We use talk group 8610, and if you do a search for CRHRC on the P25 section, you'll see us in there. Like I said, it's talk group 8610, and it's the standard NAC 293, but the P25 is connected to node 28528, so any P25 users on the system will come out over All-Star. So are there any questions on the P25? Okay, so the second mode here, or the third mode I should say, Yaesu Fusion. So Brian, you want to go ahead and...
All right, so Yaesu Fusion is kind of our most popular digital mode, and a lot of people have access to Yaesu radios. So Yaesu is also known as C4FM, which is the mode. and that's Yaesu's digital voice mode. Now, Yaesu has two different fusion networks. One of them is WiresX, and that one is maintained by I'm not going to get too much into WiresX, but that is one of Yaesu's fusion networks. The other fusion network that we utilize most of the time is the MMDVM YSF network. And if you're starting to see a pattern here, with MMDVM you can do DMR, P25 fusion, and other digital modes. So D-Star. And D-Star, which is antiquated digital. So that's not for this discussion. But anyways, so Crossroads has a WiresX room. It's US CRHRC TX 28534. That's
need that key. The repeater. Go ahead.
Okay, let the repeater drop. All right. So WiresX is US CRHRC-TX. And then we have an MMDVM YSF rooms. We have two of them. The WiresX room is connected to our YSF1 network, which is 62426. And it's also connected to SADRC, which is the San Antonio Digital Network. And that's what the WiresX room is used for. But if you do have WiresX, you can connect to US CRHRC TX 28534. And I may have got a little tongue-tied on that. Hold on a second. N5TZV.
We had to correct something here. So we have two YSF reflectors. Let me clarify.
No, WiresX is 28534.
Okay. All right, never mind. Okay, so the WiresX is 28534. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, so we have multiple YSF repeaters, fusion repeaters, which is YSF. They're connected through the MMDVM YSF network, and this Crossroads YSF network is 62426. And that one is connected full-time to the repeaters in Edna, Wharton, Shiner, and Houston, and there will be more in the future. Those are connected to SADRC, but not to 28528, except during the nets. During the nets, all of the YSF repeaters will be connected to 28528. Let me let it drop. Okay. CRHRC also maintains another fusion room, which is known as US CRHRC2-TX, and that's also known as node number 62427, and that's the YSF network, US CRHRC2-TX. What this YSF reflector is for anybody that has a node at home, and you have a Yaesu radio and you want to use your node on YSF and you want to talk to the All-Star Hub 28528, you would connect to CRHRC2 on the YSF network. And that one will be full-time to 28528. So a good example of this, I'll repeat it. If you have a Yaesu handheld radio and you have a MMDVM hotspot, you have it in YSF mode, and you want to talk to the Crossroads All-Star Hub 28528, you go to US CRHRC2-TX. Now, if you talk on the Edna repeater, the Wharton repeater, the Shiner repeater, or the Houston repeater, you will come out and be connected to SADRC, and that's on YSF1, which is US-CRHRC-TX. So you can also connect your hotspot to that one, but just be known that it will come out on all the YSF repeaters, but not on 28528. I'm trying to explain this the best I can, and so I need some questions to help me clarify it. I'm doing the best I can, guys, because it's a little bit confusing the way we have the network, but it's very versatile.
KB9MEQ with a question. Just a quick question. Can you cover again how San Antonio, how that digital network figures into this?
Okay. We have an agreement with SADRC, and they use a Wires X network for their Fusion repeaters. For most of their Yaesu repeaters, they use the Yaesu DR1, DR2s, and they're connected to Wires X. Therefore, we have a Crossroads Wire X room, and that one stays connected to SADRC. So that's our link to SADRC is through Wires X. And that will be full-time to the Fusion network of Crossroads 62426. Except for during nets. During nets, we disconnect from SADRC.
Very good. Other questions on the Yaesu Fusion?
This is KJ5ADO.
Go ahead, Brenda. N5TZV. I'm having an issue keying up, so y'all have to give me a minute. That's why it takes a pause, because it won't let me transmit until the whole system drops. Go ahead, Brenda.
I was just wondering, when you talk on the one that goes back to the All-Star node, what does the sound quality sound like? Is it going to sound like talking on Yaesu Fusion, which is, kind of narrow sounding, or is it going to sound more like analog?
It's key.
Okay. It will sound like Fusion if you talk to another Fusion user, but if you hear it from All-Star, you're going to notice a difference because there's an analog conversion. So what I suggest, Brenda, and anybody else, connect to US CRHRC2-TX on your YSF setup and listen to it, and you'll hear everything that's coming out on the All-Star Hub 28528. And then you can be the judge of that. We've done a good job to try to balance it and get our audio levels as good as we can. If there is a problem, please email us and let us know. But that's the best way to do it. Connect to that YSF reflector and see what you think.
Okay, thank you for that. KJ5ADO.
Question N7FG.
Okay, user, it looks like you're coming in on YSF. Go ahead with your question.
Yeah, I just connected to the YSF room. Connected to the CRHRC number 2. That is for hotspots, basically, MMDVMs, and that connected most of the time.
So yeah, the CRHRC2 is full time to 28528. So anytime you want to talk on the analog side to 28528, CRHRC2 is the YSF reflector you want to connect to. The other reflector, just the CRHRC-TX, is going to be the one that's on SADRC and also connected to the Edna, Houston, Shiner, and Wharton YSF repeaters, and it is not going to come over the analog to 28528. Does that clarify it?
Yeah, it does. That's perfect. Thank you, N7FG.
And another caveat on the YSF. For it to go through the analog side, you have to be on narrow. Wide will not pass through the software that we use to convert it from YSF to analog. So
DN.
Just make sure you're on digital narrow, DN. So just FYI. So if you get on there and your radio switches to wide and you're not coming through the analog side, it's because wide won't pass through the conversion software.
Great questions, guys. Do we have any other questions on the Yaesu side? Okay, Brandon, Robert, it sounds like we can continue on.
Okay, so now we come to the status page for CRHRC. These are the web pages that you can check to see what's connected to the server and the activity that's going on each mode. So the first, if you're looking at the slide, the first site is the Almon3 website, and that gives you status of all the current connected All-Star nodes to the CRHRC server. There are several nodes on that page. The top one being the 28528. That's the master hub node that everybody connects to, that you're used to seeing. So going down the list of the connected repeaters, let's see, let me pull it up here. So you have 28528 is like I said, the master hub, and then we have the next node, which is 1006. That's a dummy node that our Echolink channel driver is connected to. If we ever have any problems with Echolink, we can just disconnect 1006 and figure out the problem later on. It takes away from having to troubleshoot while it's connected to the entire system. That's just a dummy node that we have set up for troubleshooting purposes. The next node, 1007, that's another dummy node that we have that takes the audio from 28528 and dumps it into the HB Link server. That's if you get on DMR on Talk Group 11, you'll be coming out of 1007. That's what that node is for. 1008, if you get on the YSF, the second reflector, CRHRC2, that node you'll come out of that node to get to 28528. That's what it's for. They're dummy nodes. You can't connect to them with your All-Star hotspot or anything. They're just there for troubleshooting purposes. If we have a problem, we can disconnect that one node, and everything will continue on the system without the noise. So 614705 is the P25 gateway. That's the node that P25 traffic will come out of. We talked about 614491. That's the test node. If anybody's connected to that, you'll see listed there. I started getting long-winded, but anyway. So 614703, that is the Talk Group 11 over to the C Bridge. So any traffic from the C Bridge on Talk Group 11 will come through on 614703. And then 614704 is the YSF 1 reflector, or the first reflector. That's the one that you'll see 614704 later on tonight will disconnect from 28528, and it'll just be standalone. But if you have an All-Star hotspot, you can connect to 614704, and it will convert your analog over to YSF, and you will be on the CRHRC YSF network. So if you don't have a Yaesu radio, but you have an All-Star hotspot, you can still get on 614704 and talk to everybody on YSF. Are there any questions on the status page for Almon3?
Rob, just a comment from the net control net loggers on that status page on the net.
Bill, I didn't copy. I doubled with you. Say it again.
Oh, I'm sorry. K5LK. I just wanted to speak up about that particular network page, or that web page, especially doing our nets, like on Thursday night when we've got doubles and triples and all of that. It really works well for the net controls and net loggers, so thank you guys a lot, where you can say, okay, whoever's coming in on the whatever repeater, the Pasadena repeater, please try it again. That's helped a lot, so I think our team is starting to utilize it quite a bit. Back to you, Rob. Great information. K5LK.
Okay, and back to net control. Go ahead, KB5PBM.
Very good. It sounds like we do not have any other questions on the system status, so it sounds like we can move on. Great information.
Quick, and then
okay, and then the second link on the status page is our network status page for our repeaters. This tells us if we have a connection to the actual node through the VPN. So this, we use Uptime Kuma. It's a network monitoring software, and it sends out pings every so often just to see if those nodes are alive. This is the network connectivity. So if it goes red on this page, the repeater is disconnected from the CRHRC network, and it's probably in standalone mode. The repeater will still work, but you won't go out over the entire network.
So that's let us know when we've lost internet at a site.
Right, and we watch that. Brian watches it pretty diligently, so that's when we got to get somebody to find out why it's disconnected. Normally we have a internet outage or a power glitch or something happened out there, and we have to reset something. So that's what the uptime.crhrc.org is. Are there any questions so far on this links, the status system? Mike, I'll go and turn it back to you.
Very good. So I believe we're wrapping the presentation portion. Excellent. So once again, this is Mike, KB9MEQ on the W5LCR repeater system with the Crossroads Ham Radio Club monthly TechNet session. And I would like to give a super big thank you to both Brian, N5TZV, and Robert, KB5PBM, for the awesome presentation tonight. Great job. Awesome information on our repeater network and servers, and all the digital modes and the monitors. This actually will get posted a little bit later on tonight, so look for it out there because there's a lot of great information. You can download it and have that information. So big thanks to you guys.
I wanted to take a short break to remind you of the great items available at the CRHRC merchandise store. Show your club pride by purchasing club-branded merchandise. Go to www.crhrc.org/merch. There is also a link in the description below.
Did we want to go in and have a little bit about repeater etiquette here?
Yes, Mike, we've got a few more slides we want to get through. One thing we did want to remind everybody to please review the repeater etiquette that was done. It was back in TechNet number 10. Gives you some pointers and ideas of how to utilize the system. And then next slide, please. Also, we have repeater network connection policies that CRHRC has adopted to keep our system clean and user-friendly. And the main thing here is if you have an All-Star node, please disconnect from all other connections when you connect to our hub node of 28528. What we don't want to interlink large systems together. We don't want like other big large systems linked to CRHRC, and that can happen really easily if you don't disconnect your node before you come over to CRHRC. We welcome anybody. Just please, that's one of our biggest policies is just to connect to us and no other large networks if you're going to connect to CRHRC. And there's a few other things here. You can, like I said, you can review the policy online on the website. It's it'll be called All-Star Connection Policies. Okay, now that brings us to the end, Mike. I believe that's it. So anyone, I guess let's call for questions. Anybody else have any questions over anything from tonight's presentation? Please call now.
AI5EG.
AI5EG, Jim, somewhere near Harwood. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, excellent presentation, very complex system. My question is, and I know you may not be able to answer it fully, but how robust is the system to, hurricanes, the disasters that we may need to use this system in, or some repeaters on, standby, or, how can we, has any thought been given to that type of operation?
Jim, That's a real good question. And since we utilize the public internet for our interlinking capabilities, there's going to be times where the internet will go out locally. Some of the repeater sites have emergency backup power, so they'll stay as a standalone repeater. Some do not. But if the public internet goes down, then the linking will go down, and we should have some standalone repeaters. Now, I can tell you from the hurricane, I think it was Beryl that came through, our system actually stayed up because where the server was located, they didn't lose internet, and most of our sites did not lose internet. The only one was Matagorda County. But they were able to use the local repeater for emergency traffic during that event. So we don't really have a backup for interconnecting. If the internet goes down, the link goes down. But some of the repeaters are backed up. I hope that helped answer your question.
Thank you very much. This is AI5EG, your Harwood.
Looks like we may have some questions in the Zoom. KB9MEQ.
Hey, Mike, K5LK. Yeah, we got one from Scott in 7FTP about can we see who's connected on DMR? I don't know if you can see that
somebody's
or not.
hey Robert, somebody's asking if there's a way to see DMR connection. Do we have a DMR status page? And if we don't, can we create one?
Yes, we can. There was a status page, but we really weren't using DMR all that often, so I took all of it down. But no, I will get that page back up where you'll be able to see all the connections on the DMR side. I'll work on that. KB5 PBM.
All right. Do we have other questions? We can open it up for any of the questions tonight on our presentation. So anything about our awesome repeater network, anything you'd like to know. We got the experts on, so come now with your questions. KB9MEQ. All right. Hearing no questions, and I think we've got the presentation wrapped now. Brian, Robert, is there anything else you guys want to cover before we sign and I wrap up the net here and we move over to the Zoom call?
I would like to add one more thing. I just want to thank everyone, all of our users, all of our members, for growing this system and allowing us to utilize all these technologies. And we're going to continue on and get better and better as we go on, and that's all due to our membership. We are above 500 members now, and it couldn't be possible without everybody involved in this whole thing. And I just want to say thanks everyone again and appreciate the support. And if anyone has any more questions, please reach out to info@crhrc.org, and your question will get forwarded to the proper person to answer it. And that's all I got. Thanks a lot, Mike, and everybody else. N5TZB. You want to say anything?
Yeah, that's one thing I'd like to add, the committees, all the committees. We have the directors, we have the video team. They make awesome videos. The intro, I love the intro to the CRHRC videos. Great job on that. The video team, and then you have the committee for the net logger and the net caller. What do they call it? Net control. There's just no way we could do all this without those groups. So a big thanks to all the members that have stepped up to help us out with that. It's awesome work, and it's made this system awesome. Back to you, KB5 PBM.
All right, fellas, and once again, now that we've wrapped this portion, I would like to say thank you. Great job. So much great information on our repeater network. And the slides are awesome. And like I said, those will be up later on for you guys to download and use the information. So try those digital modes out, get on there and try them. And there's folks around to support you. I know I have tons of questions on DMR, and I haven't cracked the fusion break in case of fire bubble yet, but I'm going to because I have a radio that does fusion. So Lots of great information, and also, some really great questions from the club and some great ideas from the club. So thank you guys so much for all that. So with that, I think we will, if there's no more questions, and we'll open that up for in a minute, if there's any more questions. But I did want to promote our CRHRC raffle. So get out there, buy those raffle tickets. There's a lot of really cool equipment that you can win in the raffle. And then our Ham Fest is coming up November 8th in Louise, Texas, starting at 7 a.m. So hope to see everybody there in Louise, Texas on November 8th for our Ham Fest. All right, so at this point, we are going to wrap up tonight's TechNet RF session. This is TechNet 22. Remember that we'll stay on the Zoom for a RAG2 session after the net. The scenes. Often you don't see those folks, but behind the scenes help to make tonight's net a success. If you have any questions regarding the TechNet or would like to join our team, please send an email to info@crhrc.org. That's info@crhrc.org. Again, please note that many of us will remain in the Zoom session for the general RAG2. So now I will go ahead and close out the RF session of the Crossroads Ham Radio Club monthly TechNet. This is Mike returning the repeaters to normal amateur radio use. 7-3 and good night all.
You have been listening to a TechNet presentation of the Crossroads Ham Radio Club. For more information on this club, go to www.crhrc.org. For information on upcoming TechNets, go to technet.crhrc.org.